Hi, welcome to TuneBuzz on Open Studio. My name is Manfred Petersen. I'm so excited to be your host today. Today we're going to be looking at busking all around Cape Town. TuneBuzz is so all about exploring the sound of music, music talent, and busking around Cape Town. Today we have a busker named Stanley Sibanda in studio, and I'm so excited to have him here. Welcome, Stanley.
Hey, how's it going, Manfred? Thank you for having me.
So you've been busking in Cape Town. I'm so excited to listen to your music. You know, I always see busking as a platform for artists to become, successful musicians by exploring, and exposing their music for the public out there. So I just want to know, like, how did everything start for you?
So, I've only been in Cape Town for about 2 years. And since I came down in February of 2019, my sort of MO, if you will, has been going around open mics and networking as much as I can. And some of the artists that I met suggested busking to me, and I ended up trying out for busking at the waterfront, and it worked out. They liked my style, and they gave me a contract, and that's how it started for me. So I've been busking seriously since getting to Cape Town, like from around November of 2019.
Wow, that's amazing. So have you ever thought, like, pursuing like original career in busking, or taking it further?
I have to be honest, no. So busking, as much as I love it, in a lot of ways, it's a means to an end, because I've been lucky enough to be exposed to busking spots in Cape Town, like the V&A waterfront, where it's very lucrative for the people who do it. So being someone who's a full-time musician, I sort of view that as the sort of 9-to-5 job, if you will, that enables me to pursue every other artistic and creative venture that I want to pursue without worrying about finances and stuff like that.
Okay. So have you ever thought, like, having a vision, like where you want to take it, like your busking, in terms of, like, using this platform and then take it further? Have you ever had a vision for that?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, and I think this is synonymous with every artist. Whatever it is that you do, you want to sort of improve on it with time. Unfortunately, the state that the world has been in the last year hasn't really allowed for that to be a thing that's possible for a lot of artists. But as soon as the world starts to maybe relax a bit more, it's something that I really want to focus on. A lot of us these days are, quite frankly speaking, in survival mode. You just don't want to die.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that's happening around also. So I just want to know, like, what is one of the challenges that you faced, as being a busker? What is
being a busker? What are the challenges that I faced being a busker? Building the confidence that it takes to go out there and actually do it. That's one of the most difficult things that I think I've had to face. Because when you get into music, this is something that a lot of people don't really mention, is very few people are going to care about what you're doing on stage.
Yes.
Especially when you're starting out and you're not a known artist. And when you step out there and this isn't something that's been told to you, and then you see it, there's a lot of self-doubt that creeps in.
Yeah.
So having to deal with that is something that I think has been very challenging, but it's something that every artist will have to deal with at some point, and I'm glad busking has given me the ability to do that.
Yes. Yeah, like I noticed, like, you feel, that pressure when you are alone busking. So one of the things that I also wanted to know, so during that time when you feel like that, what motivates you, to be able to take it, and continue?
It's the lesson that I learned from constantly having to deal with a situation where people don't really care. And something that I learned from that is, as long as you're happy and satisfied with what you're doing, and just that, as long as you're happy, you're satisfied, and you like it, and you know you're doing what you're supposed to do right, it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And this is very counterproductive, because busking is about getting other people involved. But the funny thing about busking is, if you're not confident in what you're doing, nobody else will be. So it starts with you.
It starts with yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like amazing, because, like, I always see, you need to have like a positive energy towards your music, and people will obviously support you and they will follow you. Have you ever felt like of quitting, something like that?
Oh yeah, every day. Every single day, at least once, I have the thought, I have the thought of what am I doing with my life? Why am I doing this right now? But I my decision to do music has always been very it's always been a very abrasive approach. It's either I'm gonna do this and it's gonna work, or I'm gonna die trying to make it work. There's no other plans that I have,
Yeah.
so I have to make it work.
So it needs to be like something that you put everything in here. Like
Yeah.
there's no plan B. You're just gonna give it your all, and then you go. But I'm so like so happy that like you are really pursuing your music, and it's really becoming something part of you. So you've been playing music. Have you ever thought of like collaborating with any other artists?
Yes, I have. Being at the stage where I am as an artist, it's not really something that I see happening anytime in the future because I am still trying to build myself. My thoughts when it comes to collaboration is I have to be at a place where I'm comfortable with myself and I know who I am as an artist before I can bring somebody else into
Yes.
my creative space because creativity and music for me are very, very personal things. And so I
Yes.
want to make sure I know what I'm doing and I'm confident in what I'm doing before I can let anybody in my space.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is something that I have thoughts for in the future.
Yeah, that's also another way for you to be able to grow your platform to the next level. And you know, one of the things that I want to know, did you ever like write original stuff like from your music? Since
Yes, I have. I'm actually right now as we speak, I'm in the middle of just finishing my album, which should be coming out a little bit later this year. Last year I signed a contract with Just Music,
wow,
and they said that I needed to get an album ready for them by this year.
wow,
And yeah, there's just a few components left, and then the album is gonna be out. But yes, I do write original music all the time.
wow, that's amazing. Thank you very much, Stanley. I'm really proud of your story. We're just gonna take a short break, and we will be right back on TuneBuzz. Welcome back to TuneBuzz. We have Stanley Sibanda in studio. I'm so glad to talk to him. And Stanley,
Yes,
I
my
just want to
friend.
know, since you've been playing music, what kind of style do you like the most?
What kind of style do I like the most? Yeah, this is always a fun question to answer because there's always a different answer. Right now, I'm enjoying a lot of what you would term as depressed indie, and a lot of metal as well. I've been listening to metal for a very, very long time, and the type of music that I write with acoustic guitars anyway is not synonymous with that type of sound in any way. And since discovering what I call the depressed indie, I've fallen in love with that sound, and yeah, I find myself listening to more and more of that every day.
Wow. So what really made you like think of metal as a sound that you like? What inspired
Um,
you? Like I said.
Teen angst. I was a very angsty teenager who didn't have a lot of avenues to express myself. And metal gave me the ability to express those feelings without being too self-destructive. Because up until that point, and this is a lot of artists suffer with issues of mental health and stuff like that. And like I mentioned, I didn't really have many avenues to express that. Um, so I went through so many phases of doing stuff that helped me cope with what I was going through. And when I discovered music, it was the only thing that really worked without being so much of a detriment to me and my person and the rest of the aspects of my health.
So Stanley, since we're talking about the music and the music industry, like I want to know, um, how did the COVID pandemic affect you as a busker?
As a busker, well, it made me obsolete in every single way that I am functional as a performing artist. Because a huge part of what I do and a huge part of what any performing artist does is they perform in front of an audience. And since COVID happened, that's not really been a thing that is possible or that is allowed. So it's been a very, very tough time, sort of adjusting to all the hoops that you have to jump through to give people a performance, and it's made me have to think. Luckily, we're in South Africa, where as bad as things are, there have been chances here and there for us to get out and stand in front of people and perform. But yeah, it definitely hasn't been easy. It's been a huge struggle.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been playing, and the COVID has changed everything. And has it really slacked the way you're playing, and has it really?
As far as the way I'm playing and the way I perform in front of people, there is a slight difference between me now and before COVID started. Obviously, because there's a large amount of time that I had to spend on my own. So when that happens, you kind of lose your social skills, and so it's a bit harder for me to stand in front of people or stand amongst people and just be a human being. So one would imagine it carries over to my ability to perform, but I'm still able to do it. I still love doing it. And I still look forward to a time when we don't have to worry about wearing masks and stuff like that.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. This COVID has changed everything, and I always think sometimes a lot of people has been struggling, even musicians. So mentally, what goes through your mind when you think about you continue with the music?
Mentally, well, I don't have anything else to do. So, and it's like I said a few minutes ago, my plan with doing music and my plan with coming down to South Africa has been, I'm either going to make this work or I'm going to die trying to make it work.
Wow.
So I don't, as much as there's a huge, huge mountain standing in front of me, I don't really care, because there's one of two outcomes. It's either it goes away and things become better, or I just die trying to make things better. And I've come to terms with both outcomes, and so we'll see what happens. I'm just focused on doing the best that I can as an artist and working as hard as I can, and whatever isn't in my control isn't.
Wow. Now, yeah, it's really tough. Like financially, what was the things you had to struggle with during this time?
Financially, I didn't really struggle much financially. Well, I did, but I didn't feel the extreme adverse effects of it, because I've been lucky enough to have an amazing support system in the people that I've met and I've networked with, and a lot of those people helped me a lot during lockdown, and yeah, I'm eternally indebted to them. So on that front, financial struggles have been there, but I'm lucky enough to not have felt that as much as most other performing artists.
Wow. Yeah, I think sometimes even if you have financial struggles, you have to continue and you have to go out and you have to make it work. Thank you, Stanley. We're just going to take a short break and we will be back on TuneBuzz. Thank you very much. Welcome back to TuneBuzz. We're still in studio with Stanley. Stanley,
Yes, Manfred.
you've been playing music, it's been a difficult year also. So I want to know, as a busker, what are your plans? Where do you want to take it so far?
Yeah, with regards to busking, I want to keep on doing what I've been doing the last year, which is going out, playing, and learning how to create a relationship between me and people as a performing artist, because that's something that I think busking also teaches you very well. As on top of learning to deal with an audience that doesn't care as much, it also teaches you how to interact with an audience that's actually paying attention to you. So it's always a learning experience for busking, because there's always a different blend of people. So I intend on keeping that thing going and learning as much as I can about interactions between a performing artist and their audience.
Okay, that's amazing. Have you ever decided, to bring other buskers also involved with your music, while playing busking, do projects with them?
No, I haven't, because like I said before, I'm focused on getting my own stuff together, like sorting myself out and figuring out who I am as an artist and getting comfortable with that before I can start working with other people. And some of it ties into live performances as well. And that's one of the many reasons I also prefer to not work with a band. Because, like I said before, music is a very, very personal thing for me, and I'm still trying to figure myself out. So that is something that I would love to do in the future, but right now, it's not something that I'm focused on at all.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. Um, like busking. I think that's like it's a journey. For you to become a successful artist, and it requires a lot of hard work and consistency. Have you ever tried to get sponsorships for you, like to really sponsor you while you're busking? Um, before the COVID happened.
No, because in the space of performing arts, and this is just my personal experience, I don't know what it's like for other people, but when you get to the point where you're getting sponsorships, you need to have some sort of a following, and you need to have something that you're offering the companies that are sponsoring you. And if I'm going to be honest, right now I have a very minimal following. And if I were to approach a company like a company that makes strings or guitars or amps, and I told them, say, guys, please sponsor me, I wouldn't be able to offer them anything. So yeah, there's really no incentive for anyone to sponsor me right now. That's harsh, but it's also true. So that's another thing that I dream of getting to the point of one day, but right now it's very far off. And yeah, it's going to take quite a bit of work to get to the point where I'm getting sponsorships from people.
Okay. So you've been busking, you've created like original music also.
Yes, I
So
have.
will you be able to play for us a piece of your music?
Yes, I would love to.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind to watch you.
Okay.
Okay.
So the song that I'm going to be doing is a song that I wrote at the tail end of last year. And I think I've mentioned this before. As an artist, I sometimes get in my own head.
Yes.
And some of the stuff that I find in my own head isn't.
Feeling.
Yeah, it's not very fun to deal with sometimes, and you tend to feel hopeless. And this song talks about that. Yeah, it's called Hopeless Dreams.
Hopeless Dreams. Okay.
Morning comes, hollowed out and numb. Rise and shine, paint on a brand new smile. Shock and jive, say those words just right, and bite your tongue, and hold the pain inside, slithering and whispering, splintering my hopeless dreams, telling me to let it be, telling me just go to sleep. Setting sun, the freezing darkness comes, and I can't run from what's behind these eyes. shadows come, floating one by one, and I'm undone from holding on too long, slithering and whispering, splintering my hopeless dreams, telling me to let it be, telling me just go to sleep. And I'm torn inside, and I'm falling apart, and I'm torn inside, and I'm breaking apart. Slithering and whispering, splintering my hopeless dreams, telling me to let it be, telling me just go to sleep.
Wow, that's amazing, Stanley. I'm so
Thank you very much, man.
like proud of you. I mean, like the music is really amazing.
Thank you, dude.
I wanted to ask you any projects that you're working on.
Any projects that I'm working on? So yeah, as previously mentioned, I'm currently working on an album with Sit the Folk Down and Just Music, and we're almost done with it. There's very few elements and finishing touches that are left here and there, and that's going to be coming out in about maybe 5-ish months.
Wow, okay.
And yeah, that's the bulk of what I'm working on right now, because I want it to be perfect, because it's my first album. And yeah, that's about it. I also have a YouTube channel that I upload on every once in a while. You can find it by searching for Stanley Sibande. That's Sibande. And yeah, you can
Wow.
also find all of my singles on every major streaming platform. So if you use Spotify or YouTube Music or Apple Music, just search for my name and you're most definitely going to find me.
Wow, thank you very much, Stanley. That's amazing. So if you guys want to catch Stanley on his platforms, you can just follow him and tag him. I'm really proud of you, and you've been doing amazing in the studio, and I'm so glad to have you here. But thank you guys for watching also TuneBuzz, and stay tuned for our next episodes. See you next time. Thank you very much.